Hello, good morning everyone. This is my son, DJ. Well, his real name is Donnell, but we call him DJ. My son was born 1 pound, 13 ounces. His birthday is September 6, 2017. He just turned 4 this year. Today makes his 2nd year at home. Yeah, because he came home last year on this day. Yeah, a lot of you guys probably like, oh my God, you're so small, you're so small. Yeah, my son was born premature. And this binder right here explains everything that's wrong with my son. I'm going to call it all out for you guys, but I'm going to wait until his treatment stops so you guys can hear me better. My son has rhino. It's a upper respiratory infection. He catches it every year because he was born premature and his lungs can fully develop. So he pretty much catches this virus every year. Last year he caught it really worse because he was throwing up blood and he had to be hospitalized and he was on oxygen and everything. But this year he's not as bad as he was last year. So that's a good thing. But yeah, I'm gonna go into more details once the treatment stops. I'm giving him albuterol treatment. I just gave him an Atrovent. They say it's best to give him that every 4 hours. They say it's best to give him that every 4 hours, right along with cough medicine. So I've been using Delsums the morning and the night, because that seems to be working. I'm also giving him acetaminophen if he has like a fever or if he's, not feeling too good. Also, I'm giving him Csection for his allergies. So, yeah. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to just get right into it. Okay, so I had my son at 28 weeks. He was only 1 pound, 13 ounces. He has chronic respiratory failure. He was trach dependent, but August 4th of this year, they took it out. They said he didn't need it anymore because his lungs was much stronger now. Thank God for that. He was on a ventilator at one point. He was on there. Y'all right, boo? He has trachomalacia, pulmonary artery stenosis, and pulmonary hypertension, eczema, adrenal insufficiency. He has this, how do I explain it? He has Williams-Burns syndrome. It's like a form of Down syndrome, but it's not Down syndrome. And he has cognitive hypothyroidism. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that's wrong with my little bookie. I don't know where he's going. Get up here. So, because my son was born premature, he doesn't know how to walk. He just don't learn how to say words. Well, when he was in the hospital, I take that back. He didn't say mama. He said dad and hi and hey. But hi and hey was his first 2 words for me, and dad said it to him a lot. So he just don't know how to say words. Now he's no longer trach dependent and kind of engaging. Wanted to eat like food by mouth, but because he was born premature, he doesn't know how to swallow yet. He doesn't know how to chew yet. He's still working on that. He doesn't know how to walk, so my son wears splints on his feet to try to help him learn how to stand up. He do bring his car seat at home sometimes, especially when he's sick. He sits in it. He does have a little rocking chair right there, but he's still kind of too small for that, so he kind of slides out of it, so we don't leave him in there one too long. Are you clapping? There's his bed. My mom bought his bed. He's going to eat pretty much buys everything. This little machine right here is his vest machine. That I put this little vest right here around his waist, and it shakes him up for 30 minutes to help, you know, get some of the mucus and stuff out that you can't physically spit out here. And this little machine, move your hair, boo-boo. You still gonna put your hair in the way? This machine right here, this is suction machine. My son used to have a trach, so he used to have to wear trachs and trach ties, so we have to use like suction his neck to get all the mucus and stuff out. We use this one to suction his mouth, and we use this one to suction his nose. Okay, so so I'm going to give you guys a backstory. Okay, so me and his dad wanted, hey man, hey booty. So me and his dad have been together for 10 years. When we decided that we was going to have a baby, we was like year 6 or 7 into our relationship. So me and dad was like, you know what, let's go on and try for a baby, because clearly we're not going to leave each other. We're not going anywhere. Yeah, baby knows what sorry guys. So when we found out that we was pregnant, we were so happy. Oh, my son has a G-tube, so everything that he eats or intake is through his stomach. Yeah, kid, man. You want to tell him, and then you tell him. That's what happened? Okay. So when we finally found out that we was pregnant, we were so happy. Now prior to us getting pregnant, I was on birth control since I was like 16, and I would say I got the Implant. Back then it was called the Implant. Now it's called the Nexplan or Nexplan or something like that. So when I first got mine, I was like what? I would say 17, maybe in the last 3 years. So I had finished my first one, and then I got my second one put in. Ouch, booty. So I got my second one put in. I didn't finish the whole 3 years. I think I got it taken out a year and a half later, or going into my second year. So when it took like a good 9 months to a year before we popped up pregnant. So when I got pregnant, I was so happy because we was trying, and we finally got pregnant. So everything was going good. Everything was going great until I would say I hit about 3 months. But I started showing very early. So by the time I almost hit 3 months, I already had a little pudge. My belly button was swollen, sticking out. So I knew I was having a boy. Everybody kept saying, well, how do you know? I just knew. So when I hit about 3 months, we went to the doctor, and you know, they did a checkup, and they were saying that, you know, they were saying some decrease in his heart, like in his breathing, like he would stop breathing for a second or two, and then, you know, start back breathing. So they was like, they just wanted to monitor me, and you know, then the doctor was like, oh, well, your cervix is a little tilted, so you consider high risk. So they started having me going to the high risk clinic, and I started seeing a doctor at the March of Dimes clinic too. So now I was having appointments, I think twice a week, or twice every 2 weeks or something like that. So you know, I was just praying that God was going to heal whatever was wrong. So I knew something was wrong because every time I would bless you, every time I would, you said bless you? Because every time I would go for a checkup, they never told me how much my baby weighed or anything like that. They just kept pushing back my due date. DJ was originally supposed to be born November 27th. But that didn't happen. His birthday ended up being September 6th. So, get over booty. So, yeah, after, you know, they did that, I was like, okay, now I gotta be careful, watch what I eat, you know, try to exercise, be healthy, which I did. I was doing all the things Dr. asked me to do. When I turned 5 months, they was like, do you guys want to know what the sex of the baby is? I was like, sure. DJ was on the screen with his legs wide open. It was a boy. Clear as day, you could see. I was like, oh my God, I'm having a son. So, yeah, so after we found out at 5 months it was a boy, you know, the doctor still kept saying the same thing, still never told me how much he weighed, you know. Doctor appointments was short, you know, they come in, check the baby, look at him. Oh, he's doing good, yada, yada, yada. Give me a ultrasound of the baby, send me out the door. Now, when I turned about 6.5 months, I had a doctor's appointment. I went in to go see the doctor, and I knew something was wrong. And I'm going to tell you, I knew something was wrong because usually the nurse, she checked me out. Booty, calm down, son. So hyper. It's too early in the morning. So you'll see she'll come in there, she'll check me out. She'll look at the baby, yada, yada, yada. Print out the ultrasound pictures, send me out the door. This time, she didn't do that. She looked at the baby. You know, it was taking her a little bit longer than usual to, you know, look at the pictures and stuff. Bless you. So then she walked out of the room. I knew something was up. Then here came the doctor. He came in. He looked at the ultrasound on the screen and stuff like that. And then he turns and looked at me and he was like, well, what, boo? He said, well, we are starting to see a more and more of a decrease in his breathing. He's starting to stop, you know, a lot more. So we're going to have to monitor his breathing and stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to admit you into the hospital and we're going to keep you there under observation until your due date. So he was like, go home and pack you some clothes. When you come back, well, we're going to have a room for you on labor and delivery. Just let them know. They'll check you in, get you upstairs. So at the time, I was working at this coffee shop. His dad was doing security. So our schedules was different. So I was like, okay, Dad was working on nights. I was working mornings or days. So, I called Dad, told him what they said. I went to the house, packed some clothes, went to the hospital. They did a stress test on him. He did okay. 2 days later, they did another stress test. And they was like, come on, baby, we need you to keep your heart rate up. We need you to, you know, it just wasn't happening. So, amen. So this when the doctor came in and the nurse went out. And she got the doctor came in and the doctor looked at the machine and stuff. And he was like, okay, well, we're going to give you something, you know, to try to help the baby. And I was like, okay. Well, I got hiccups. I'm sorry, y'all. So the next morning, like, I would say at least 10 to 12 doctors came in my room with white coats on. I automatically knew that something was either wrong with my baby, or it was time to deliver him. So the doctor came in there and she was like, well, your placenta isn't giving the baby the nutrients and vitamins that it needs to stay alive and perform and grow. So we just think it's best that we do an emergency C-section today. So I was like, okay, well, today is the day that my son's making his entry into the world. We are happy. We just gonna pray that everything goes well, and here we go. So I called my mom. I called his dad. Uh-oh. And my mom came to the hospital. His dad was already there. So we all getting suited and booted. They took me down to the delivery room. And I was laying on the table. They gave me the epidural. I was so scared because I was afraid with that big old needle. But I took it like a champ. So then I'm laying on the table. A lady poking me. And she poking me up here. But she started saying, do you feel that? Can you feel that? Can you feel me poking you? So I was like, yeah, I can feel you. She was like, can you feel that? I was like, yeah. And so she poked me again. She was like, can you feel that? I was like, no, I can't feel that. Now they got the sheet up. Dad is sitting next to me. DJ, calm down. DJ, so his dad is sitting next to me on this side. And the lady like, so I closed my eyes. She's like, no, don't close your eyes, Mom. I want you to go to sleep. I'm like, I'm not going to sleep. I just wanted to close my eyes because for one, it was cold in there. I ain't got no shirt on, no bra or nothing. So his dad was watching them as they cut me open. They pulled DJ out. Now I'm laying with my eyes closed. And I'm saying to myself, I just want him to cry. I just want him to cry. I want him to cry. So they pulled him out. He immediately screamed to the top of his lungs. I was like, I started crying. I was like, oh my God, my baby. That's my baby. That's my baby. So, Dad went over there to the table where they had DJ at. He was on the table. It was so tiny. You could see all of his ribs and all of his head, like all his ribs, his lungs. It was just, but I couldn't see him. So they was working on him, and, trying to do this and that. They put him in a bag, and then wheeled him down to the NICU. So I didn't get to see him until like 2 days later because I had to recover because I couldn't walk. So they took me down to the NICU. Then when I did finally get a chance to go see him, like he had so many complications. Like I just didn't think he was going to make it. He had jaundice, so he had a yellow light over him. He had this blue pad like on top of the incubator. You okay, boo boo? DJ, you okay? So then he was in the incubator. So when I got discharged, I was getting ready to go home, and the doctor's call was like, we need you to come back to the hospital. We need to talk to you guys. Now, mind you, Dad left because Dad had to go to work. So I got a crook in my neck. Y'all, like, oh my God. So my mom was the one picking me up from the hospital. So when I was downstairs waiting on her, I went back upstairs. We called Dad because he had to go to work. So I'm on the phone with him while we sitting there talking about. They like, well, they found bleeding on his brain and swelling. And at that point, they wasn't sure if he was going to make it the next 24 hours. So they wanted to talk to us about possibly what plans we had. If he didn't make it, like, do we want to cremate him? Do we want to bury him? Like, what do we want to do? So at that point, I was just distraught because it was like, if it's not our time to be parents, it's just not our time. But I was just so overwhelmed. So, boy, your nose bleeding. Let mama see your nose. That nostril's bleeding. This one bleeding too. Okay, so I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to take it. Oh, yeah, I hear you. So, I told them, I'm like, well, until y'all tried everything under the sun, under the book and skies, in the graveyard, then we can possibly talk about what our options are as far as burial and all of that. So, I started crying. My mom's like, do y'all have, so they was like, well, if you want, like, are you guys religious or anything, you guys, you know, practice any type of religion? My mom was like, we're Baptist. So she was like, well, we do it. Look, yeah, see, you guys feet on me. They was like, we do have a clergy here or at the hospital if you guys would like us to call them, you know, if you guys want to pray. So, my mom was like, yeah. So they called the clergy, came up there to my son's room. We went in there and we prayed over him. And we prayed over him that, you know, God was going to heal him from whatever was going on with him and everything like that. So, I'm sorry, y'all. I got something stuck under my finger. So, once they did that, you know, me and my mom, we ended up going home. I tried to relax, but from a mother's standpoint, it was the hardest thing in the world to be at home and not being able to take my son home. Couldn't have him on holidays, couldn't have him on Christmas, couldn't have him on my birthday, couldn't have him on his birthday. So, each day got better and better. I mean, he did have some days where he took a turn for the worse, and the other days he had good days. So, my son stayed in the NICU I got hiccups like crazy. It's pissing me off. So, my son stayed in the NICU at Children's until he's about 9 months old. And then he went to this hospital called Rankin Jordan, where he stayed there until after his second birthday. He came home December 23rd, 2019. Because last year made a whole year. Today makes two years. So, I was just like, it was just for me being the first time I didn't expect that this was how my life was going to be. I wouldn't expect